Welcome back, everybody. We're on chapter 12, starting chapter 12. We're going to be starting the first thing. What we're going to do is we're going to be discussing the concept of tzimtzum and what happens after tzimtzum. Before we've learned that before the first contraction, there are three levels that exist before the first contraction. Those are Yachid, Echad, and Kadmain, which Yachid means alone, Echad means one, Kadmain means preceding. And then there is the Tzimtzum that God makes a contraction. In other words, he makes the possibility for another creation to be for creation to be apparent. And then after the Tzimtzum, there is the Rishimu, which is the logo, which remains after the Tzimtzum. And then from the logo, he creates a kav, the ruler, which is the ability to measure things. So a logo is establishing the fact that we're going to create limits. And then the ruler is going to measure out how much of each limit for each domain, each particular domain. And now we've learned the metaphor and the lesson of the three levels before the first contraction. Now we're going to start learning the metaphor for after the first tzimtzum, or the metaphor for tzimtzum itself. And I guess the best thing would be to chart it somehow. But even before we're going to learn the metaphor, we're going to learn we're going to hear some very powerful statements, and then we're going to get code for prayers. In other words, prayer code. We're going to get a few words which are in the daily prayers, and he's going to explain what those codes are. So then when we pray and say those words, we'll know what it means in the order of creation. So let's just start. Let's start reading the beginning of chapter Yud Beis, chapter 12. Let's see if I can make it big on my end. Yeah, I can. Okay. No, let's go on page Kuf Yud Ches Amud Beis. Amud Beis. Is there a way to go to Amud Beis, the next page?
I'm sorry, I can't hear. Kuf Yud Ches or Kuf Yud Tes?
Kuf Yud Ches Amud Beis.
That's what it's on right now on my screen.
I see it. Yes. It was on Amud Aleph before.
Okay, can you see Kuf Yud Beis Kuf Yud Ches Amud Beis now?
Yes.
Okay, good.
So this is 119 folio 2. That's the name of the page.
Okay,
Beis means chapter 12. Umayata, and from now, after everything that we've done till now, Yesh Lahavin, we can understand Bir Inyan Tzimtzum Arishin. We can understand the explanation of the first contraction, Hanal, that we've spoken about before. Ubechinas Harashimu Shenishar. And then we can understand the logo which remains after the Tzimtzum. Rishimu, we're going to find out what that means. But Rishimu is really just the remaining like a little script, a little signature. So we're going to use the word logo because that's really understandable. Hagam sheyadua le'yodim, even though it's known to the people that know the Kabbalah, that know the secrets of the Torah, harayesh bezeh pratim rabim. In the idea of contraction, there are many parts, and we've learned before that parts are so important. The specific parts are so important to understand, because there's no way to do reflection that's effective, that changes our lives, unless we go into all the parts. And we need to put our concentration on the parts very much. So first we have to contemplate on the parts, on the specifics, but then we need to really focus on them very much. So that's the second part, focus, contemplation.
Rabbi Chirik, one second, can I interrupt? Can you see me highlighting the words on your screen?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, great. Okay, I'm going to continue that.
Because this, understanding the parts of Tzimtzum, is the main oneness, the true the real true oneness, in the essence of the unlimited, the unlimited essence, the unlimited, the essence of the unlimited light. So there is a special commandment of Hero Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one. And the main thing that we need to think about is the parts of the contraction. And the name of the book that we're learning, the holy book that we're learning, is the book of the oneness. So this is the main thing you need to do for the entire oneness. Everything we've been learning about till now, now we're going to find out what is the main thing. That was all the preparation for this main thing. In Atmos, when we're going to learn about the Tzimtzum, that's what we're going to learn, how everything in front of God is as if it doesn't exist. It's like when you have ideas in your mind and you picture a green tree and leaves falling from the tree because it's getting to autumn, and a little bench next to the green tree, and then there's a stream of water, right? When you imagine all these things, those imaginations are like nothing in front of you, your brain, yourself, your personality, your the real you. So the same thing, everything in the world compared to the essence of God, that's how they are. They're incomparable. They're insignificant. They're significant because God chooses to thought them. We are significant because God chooses to think about us. But but compared to the essence of God, that's insignificant. It's only the essence which gives us significance. The choice of the essence to give us reason, the fact that we exist, that is what's significant. But anything else is not really significant. And that really is going to help us understand the oneness, how there's only one God that exists and nothing else really exists. We've said there are three subjects in Hasidic thought: how he fills all the worlds, how he's beyond all the worlds, surrounds all the worlds, beyond all the worlds, the super energy, right? That was the second one. And this is the third one. Everything in front of him, it's as if it doesn't exist. It's the highest one. This is the highest level. In fact, everything we've been learning till now, when we think about how God fills the worlds, it's only a preparation to prepare our mind for this level. This is the highest thing that we need to be thinking about. Gam bebechinas klolos kol ishtashelis dekav. Also, when we learn the general chain-like order of creation of the ruler, how the ruler starts to measure out every level, until God is able to, until the person is able to direct his will to gives his soul over la'atzmos, to the essence, Ein Sof, of the unlimited light, levade, only him alone. Because when we say, Hero Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is our one, the mitzvah is to Mesiras Nefesh, to give our soul over to the essence. So how are you able to recognize the essence? How are you able to lechaven, to focus one's thoughts to the essence if you don't know what the essence is? So thinking about the parts of the tzimtzum, of the contraction, that's going to allow you to direct your soul, to give your soul directly to the essence. Like it is written, Atahu Hashem levadecha. This is in prayer. Now I said before that we're going to learn some meanings in prayer, and the point is not that you just listen. This is not entertainment. This is training, and this is training. We're giving over to you something that was passed down. Moses passed down the revealed Torah, but he also passed down the secrets of the Torah to individuals, and it was passed down through the generations until 500 years ago. There, Rizal, it was told that it's now time to start teaching more people, and until nowadays, we actually teach the secrets of the Torah to many students. So we're giving over skills to you now. This was passed down from generation to generation. Now, in prayer, we say the words Atu Hashem levadecha. You are God alone. Find it in prayer. And when we say those words, what are we to think is that we are giving ourselves not to any levels in spirituality, but to you alone, to Atzmus. How? By learning about Tzimtzum. Okay, here's another statement in prayer. The king which is higher alone. Okay, you're getting the code words? Levadecha means alone. Levade is him alone. These are the code words to Atzmus, to the essence. When you hear the words Levadecha, alone, or Levade in prayer, these are code words for him alone, to the essence. And what is Hamelach Hamrei Levade? What does that really mean? You know, when kids learn how to pray, they just learn the translation, but then they find out that there's like a hidden secret meaning to it. This is the expression of the unlimited before the tzimtzum. We already know that. So we say, you, God, are beyond alone. So beyond means before the tzimtzum, alone. So, but Hamelach, you, the king. So referring to the expression of the unlimited before the tzimtzum. And when we say those words, that's what we're supposed to think. We're thinking about the expression that's before tzimtzum. Now, the next words in that part of prayer is Shemisnase Geam B'Yemes Elam. He is higher than the days of the world. That's the translation of the words. These are words in the prayer. Hamisnase, who is higher, like Nasi is a president in Hebrew, right? Hamisnase, that is beyond. Gam B'Yemes Elam, also beyond the days of the world. Now he's giving you the code word. What does this mean? The Adam Kadmon, Adam Kadmon of the first man. So the first man we're going to call the days of the world, because man is really about different emotions. And God is beyond those emotions. Shenikra Yemei Kedem Kanal. We've already said that Yemei Kedem, the days of old. Days of old is words in prayer. And we've said, we said before, the Yemei Kedem are the days before Tzimtzum. That's why I believe that's what we said before. And now he's saying, well, Yemei Kedem, the days of old, could also, because Kadmon. In other words, the third level before Tzimtzum is Kadmon, and we said that Yemei Kedem, the days of old, refers to Kadmon, but over here he's saying that Adam Kadmon, which is the level after the ruler, the first man, that is Yemei Kedem. Kadmon, Yemei Kedem. So God is higher than Adam Kadmon, but in other words, the same words can have multiple meanings on different levels. So at this point in time, when we say Yemei Kedem, or God is beyond the worlds, we say he is the expression before Tzimtzum, and he is beyond the first man. Zehu Hashemayim. And another place in prayer. So now we have like at least like another place in prayer. Hashemayim, Ushmei Hashemayim. When we say the heaven and the heavens of the heaven in prayer. So when we say the words heaven, it means something in the hidden world, in Kabbalah. One second, I don't know where you are. One second. Okay, the heaven refers to the Seva Vaklali, which is the sphere, which is basically the domain, not a physical sphere. It's the domain, the general domain after Tzimtzum, which is created after Tzimtzum. You know, people that do coding can understand these things nowadays, because you can understand concepts which don't exist in a physical place anywhere. They just exist in concepts. So computer programmers can understand this very well. So you create a domain. When you say Hashemayim, the heavens, it refers to the first domain after the contraction. Ushmei Hashemayim, the heaven of the heavens, in prayer, when we say that, Shelifnei Atzimtzum, we're referring to before the contraction. Lo Yechal Kolucha, and the words are, they cannot hold you. In other words, the domain created after Tzimtzum, and even before the Tzimtzum, they don't really do justice. They're not a domain that holds God. Lo Yechal Kolucha, these domains don't hold God. God is beyond these domains. After heaven, after the Tzimtzum, and Shmei Hashemayim, the heaven of the heavens, that was before Tzimtzum, they also don't hold you. Gam b'mechinas kli l'kli. They're not even a vessel of a vessel. Kamei galif galifu b'tihira ilah. Because in Shmei Hashemayim, the heaven of the heavens, which is also the upper purity, Galif Galifu, the God made hieroglyphics. He scratched out. He had thoughts, basically pictures and thoughts of how the world will be. But those pictures and thoughts, they don't capture God. They don't even capture something that is a secondary vessel to God. Vidal, and this is enough for the understanding. Another place, I don't know if this is in prayer. Mili Bashamayim. This is in, I believe, in Tehillim. Mili Bashamayim. Who is for me in heaven? God says, who is for me in heaven? Shu b'chinas seva v'klali shelifnei atzimtzum. That is now referring to, before we said that heaven of the heavens, we saw that was before Tzimtzum, but in this verse, heaven means the general domain before Tzimtzum, Shenikra Shemei Hashemayim, which, by the way, we just called it the heaven of the heavens, but in this verse, it's just called heavens. V'imcha lechafatzli ba'aretz. So who in heaven before Tzimtzum, what in heaven can capture me? And v'imcha lechafatzli ba'aretz, and with you in the land I don't want. B'bechinas kav v'chut. God doesn't want just the ruler and the string, which is the top of the creative process. B'bechinas memala haklali. This is where in general God starts to fill in domains, starts to energize domains. So I guess in the level of programmers, there is a chain, a blockchain. So basically a blockchain is a ledger, like a block in a street block is basically a ledger. That's a metaphor for a ledger, basically a notebook. And imagine that ledger hasn't been validated by independent validation that what's on that ledger is actually correct. So it's like without energy. And then what happens by a blockchain, at a certain time, half an hour, 20 minutes, wherever it is, things become validated as that the information over there, the deal, whatever, the transactions are correct, and it gets put into the blockchain. And that's like when it gets its validity, its energy. So that's what we mean memala aklali. So basically a domain is created and then it gets energized with the divine energy, but it doesn't capture the God. And that's what he's saying. What's in the heavens before the what, even before Tzimtzum, what can capture me? And definitely my goal is not this higher level spirituality. That's not, the goal. The goal is his final is the world. Like when a person builds a building, think about this. When a person builds a building, they're not interested in the architecture. I mean, the process is fun, but ultimately they're interested in completing the project. So what's the main thing? The super technology that's used in creating the building or completing the project, the lowest levels? Like putting in the finishing touches. Obviously, it's the last levels. So God is not interested in the ruler and the string, the beginning of the creative process, which even though there's a lot of energy over there, but he's interested in completing the project. So that's our world. He's most interested in our physical world. Now what we're going to do is we're going to start learning the metaphor, because the metaphor is going to allow us, the parts of the metaphor is going to allow us to be able to understand Tzimtzum. And that Tzimtzum is going to allow us to direct our mind and our focus to give our soul over to the essence of God, which that is the mitzvah of Hero Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one. And then all of our mission in life will flow from that. So this is very significant what we're learning now. So these are the metaphors. V'nei yesh kama panim. There are different ways, but mashalim sheinim, in various metaphor, lahaskil bir inyan hatzimtzum, to start to get insight. Lahaskil is insight, it's the right brain, into the explanation, which is the left brain. So we want both brains involved. Inyan hatzimtzum, the idea of focus, the idea of the contraction. Hanikra makom panim, which we call it also in other places, it's called like an empty space. Not that it's an actual empty space, it's a virtual empty space. Kiyudua, like it's known. Lema'ayin, to a person that looks deeply into these ideas. V'chlaluse, however, the general point of all the metaphors, oila b'signon echad, goes up in one way. In other words, when you compare the metaphors, you see one singular idea which flows through all the metaphors, and you're supposed to compare the metaphors to get the singular idea, and that is the process of hisbonenus, of Hasidic contemplation, which gives us all the benefits and the impact on our soul. In order for the unlimited light of divine, that energy should be should be brought down in a specific focused way, kav, in a way of just a line. Again, the tzimtzum is, in a cup of water we have enough atomic energy to power a city. This water is made out of hydrogen and oxygen, and if you break down the hydrogen molecules, well, that's a hydrogen bomb. There's a lot of energy inside that. Even if you just separate the oxygen from the hydrogen and you put a match to it, there's going to be a lot of energy. It's going to make a big fire. So there's a lot of energy in a cup of water, but we don't want all the energy to be revealed, because that would be destructive. So that's what he's saying. In order to the divine energy should be passed down b'tzimtzum in a focused state, in a like a ruler, exactly what we need and nothing extra. God needed to focus his essential light, that it should now remain hidden in its essence. Like it should, from our perception, it should be swallowed into the essence, absorbed into the essence, at least for our perception. Because then otherwise it'll be like radioactive. It will be like go back to what we were before creation. It should not shine. All this energy should not shine. Rak efes katzehu bilvad, only a little bit. Efes in Hebrew is like zero. Like efes katzehu, as a little bit from this super divine energy. In order that afterwards there should be a light that comes down. Like in a jump. Like in coding, people that know in computer coding, there's zeros and ones. It's all different patterns of zeros and ones makes all the code, makes all the patterns. So you got to have the zero in order to be able to have the one. And even zero, like it's, I believe the people that learn coding, zero is not low, and it's not no energy. It's a little bit of voltage compared to a lot of voltage. And the zero will be marked as a little voltage, and one is marked as a more voltage. And so therefore, when he makes it Tzimtzum, it's Evetz Katzeu. It's not nothingness. It's just a very small amount of energy. And then in that domain of zero, which is a small amount of energy, where there's Hamshachas Ha'er, more energy is brought down, B'dilug Ha'erach, and also the energy changes, the energy changes in quality. Like let's look at the metaphor of the water. You have water, and if you separate the hydrogen from the oxygen, so the hydrogen, you can light a fire to it and it's going to make a big bang or a big fire. But if you split the atom, it could either power a city or blow up a city, right? It's a nuclear energy. So that's what we mean b'dilug ha'erach. You can't compare the combustion energy to the nuclear energy. That's what's dilug ha'erach. Dilug ha'erach is a jump. It's a jump from combustion energy, fire, to nuclear energy, which is just like overwhelming. So that's what we need at Tzimtzum, right? Not to have right? Not to have overwhelming divine energy, which would actually make everything revert to what it was before creation. Now we're going to bring the first metaphor. For example, the light of the intellect, Amuch, is very deep, Verachav, and it's very wide. In other words, it has a lot of details. Which is in the essence of the teacher. In order that the information should be able to be transported to a receiver, in other words, a student, which is incomparably lower than the teacher, right? So the teacher is a veteran teacher, amazing genius. And he's not able to reach the simple people, the simple student, without making a tzimtzum inside himself. In other words, hutzrach hamashpia lahalim, the teacher needs to lahalim, to hide ba'atzma, in himself, kol emek haskolose, the deep, his deep understanding. He has to hide his deep understanding, otherwise the student won't be able to understand. What he has to do inside himself, he has to make sure the only thing that remains is like the logo of his understanding, like one little dot of his understanding. From all the entire depth and detailed width. It's not that the information and the knowledge of the genius teacher is totally hidden and leaves. It's only just like when you teach somebody, make it short. You're just like he's just learning the summary. All the depth and the width, the details of the entire discussion. Pilpul is discussion. It's in his intellect. It's right there. He knows it. However, it becomes like united in his brain for a moment, temporarily. In the hidden essence, at the time when he says the law, he's teaching Jewish law, and he says the law derech kitzer in a short way. So then when he says it in a short way, the student can get that one line or that two line or that one paragraph. That's called derech hitzer, make it short. Umiyad sheishalu, and straight away when the students ask him, yarchiv hadavar, then he's going to be able to widen the information, and he's going to, yarchiv means explain the more applications. Rak bishvil sheyuvan lemekabel derech zeh hakotzer, in order that it should be understood to the student in this short way, malim gam ba'atzmei lefisha, he has to hide it even in himself. You have to hold back temporarily. Like this is explained in another place at length. And what remains as a dot, shu derech kitzer, which is the idea of going in the path of brevity, to be brief. Ein zet simtzum gamor, his briefness is not a complete contraction. Va'amiti, it's not a real contraction. Like a person contracts and covers up totally, that the student has absolutely no connection to what's going on in the mind of the teacher. It's not like that. It's in a way that in this path, the entire length is included. It's just hidden in the short paragraphs. In other words, the short paragraph is written with such wisdom that all the details are really hidden in this paragraph. It's just they're not apparent to the student. There's nothing missing, and not even half a thing missing. Like a small law in the Jewish law is the way it's written in the Mishnah. So the way Jewish law is written is the holy Rabbeinu HaKadosh, or his name is Rabbi Yehuda Anasi, that lived in the Roman times in Israel. He put together the Jewish law into 6 books. And really, Jewish law is like the Talmud, is like 20 volumes, takes years and years, can take a lifetime to study, right? But 6 books doesn't take a lifetime to study. You can learn 2 paragraphs and finish it in 6 years. So these paragraphs are written in such a way that in the wording, everything, all the length of the entire Talmud is written in code, but it doesn't seem like code. It just seems like ordinary description of law. Then when you study, you see, oh wow, pages and volumes of the Talmud are hidden in the exact wording of the Mishnah. So a veteran student will be able to see the entire Talmud in this paragraph, and a new student will be able to understand the paragraph, but just without all the details. So the entire length of the pilpul of the discussion of 20 volumes of Gemara that you could spend a week learning one page, you can spend a week studying a page of the Talmud in a yeshiva, right? Or you could learn a little faster, but it's still possible. You won't get bored if you study one page for a week. And it could be just a few words, could be 5 words in a Mishnah that you're studying. And you'll find out how in these 5 words, the entire discussion is there. And guess what? The person who knows the length, even when he reads it in short, he knows the entire length is still there. Just like the entire discussion is not hidden from a person who knows. Even when a person is repeating for himself, shena is to repeat himself, der kitzer, in the short way, the short Mishnah. One second, I don't know where you are. Okay. No. Sorry, I can't see where you are.
Sorry. When I touch the screen, when I move the screen, it moved.
It's right in the middle of the page.
Okay, I see it.
There's a footnote 14, two lines about Shanim Shishdias of Erichis.
Russian is still like Marichas Makefes Behelam Kolis Gods Akitzer. So in other words, that when he's reading in other words, the whole thing is there. It's not like the information left him like forgetfulness, and similar things. And this is explained at length in another place. That's the first metaphor. So the same thing, like for God, even though it seems like he's only like saying a shortened statement when he's creating the world, but everything is there. The entire Atzmos, the entire Oren Seif, the unlimited light of before Tzimtzum is still right here. The essence of God is still right here. It's just not apparent. And you can rediscover it. If a person studies what's here, they can rediscover the essence. V'ofen Mashal Abeis.
Rabbi Chirag, I just want to mention to you that it's 8:15, and I know that you had to leave early tonight.
I'm going to leave now, and that's one metaphor. So we'll just stay with this metaphor, and we're going to repeat this metaphor next week. But it's profound metaphor that the essence of God is right here, even though it doesn't seem so. But it could be the essence of God could absolutely be rediscovered, just like a teacher when he says a little summary. The profound depth of the teacher is still known to the teacher. It never got hidden. It was never hidden to the teacher. So this this contraction doesn't do anything to God. Nothing gets hidden to God. But for the student, for us, the receivers, we have to rediscover God. We have to go through a process of rediscovery. But what's here, what is available to us of this physical world, that is in it is hidden the entire essence. So it's our mission to make this rediscovery process step by step. I'm going to leave right now because I need to go, and we'll continue Bezras Hashem with the help of God next week.
Wonderful, Rabbi Chirag. That was really, really beautiful, and I never heard it so clearly described, and it has an excitement to it. Like we, in the natural world where we see things, we see beautiful sunset, and we see how the water works and the ice works, and the ice floats and the water goes down, and then the fish live on the bottom, and there's so many incredible details of Hashem's creation. And what you helped open our eyes to tonight is just seeing this, that it's even more awesome what the parts that we can't see and are almost just in the limit of our comprehension. And it's just so exciting to experience that. So thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Yeah, and the parts we can't see are hidden in the parts that we can see.
Say it again, please. Just say it again, please.
The amazing parts that we can't see are hidden with hints in the parts that we can see.
Right, that's beautiful, and I can hear it because we bring the analogies of the parts that we could see, and through the analogies we can understand the analog, which is the part that we can't see, the nimshal that we can't see. We understand through the mashal, which is concepts and things that we see in the world.
Right. So the two people will look at the same thing, and one will see the profound depth, and the other one is just at the beginning of the discovery process, and he won't see the profound depth. He'll just see the surface. So
right, that's beautiful. Okay. Thank you so much, Rabbi Chirag. Have a good Shabbos. I'm not in a position right now to give the Shabbos, the parsha point. I'm going to try to prepare it tomorrow and distribute it by through our distribution chain. That's Hashem.
Okay, all the best.
Okay, Hatzlacha Rabba, and a good Shabbos to everybody.
Shabbos.
Okay, take care. Bye now.